Geniuses Sean Hannity and Chris Christie are going to explain everything wrong with Obama's foreign policy. This is interesting.
I'm trying to understand something. Let's imagine today you're president, and Vladimir Putin goes through what he did with the Ukraine, Crimea. Then he goes into Syria, says he's going after ISIS, and his first bombing attack is on the U.S.-backed armed rebels that are trying to dethrone Assad, the dictator. Now, to me, that's almost a proxy attack against us. What's your read on it?
Listen, just when you think it can't get worse, with this administration, it does. So here's what you do. First off, when he went into Ukraine, what I would have done is put the missiles back in Poland and would have made troop movements in all the Baltic states, moved troops there, and made sure he understood that we meant business in Eastern Europe. Secondly, with Syria right now, we should be setting up no-fly zones and protecting those people that we're training.
But the Russian general went into a U.S. military complex and said, don't fly your airplanes.
Let me tell you.
They're lecturing us.
Listen, if I were president of the United States, that Russian general would not be telling our generals anything. And the fact is that this president has chosen, Sean, inaction over action. Every place around the world, he pulls America back, he retreats, and he apologizes. And that's not who America is. That's not who the American people are, and they're tired of this president.
It's inexplicable to me that he makes all the wrong decisions.
Obama, he's so wrong about everything ever. Care to go into specifics, bro? You want to do that? No, you can't do that. And Chris Christie said Obama, quote, retreats and apologizes everywhere. Oh, does he really? So what are the 7 countries that we're fighting in right now doing one form or another of military action? Does that count? No, that doesn't count. He somehow retreated from the places we're still in, where he's bombing, and he apologized. But he didn't do that. You just made it up. So what about Afghanistan? What about Iraq? What about Syria? What about Pakistan? What about Yemen? What about Somalia? Drone campaign going on there. What about it? No, but see, in Chris Christie's mind, he thinks, well, he's only doing soft imperialism and only doing some drone strikes and airstrikes and whatnot. I like to go all the way. I like to do an all-out invasion and occupy places and stuff like that. Yeah, well, we don't agree with you, Chris. And when I say we, I mean the American people. And the polls prove that. Now, let's get to some of the other claims here. He goes on to say, quote, put me in the ring against Putin. You didn't see it in that clip there, but he goes on to say that. Quote, put me in the ring against Putin. Dude, this isn't a joke. This isn't a game. I mean, look at it. Ah, Macho Man, yeah, I'd escalate the situation. It'll work out great. We're not marching towards World War III like a bunch of idiots. But that is what you're doing. You don't know it because you're not that bright, but that is what you're doing. I mean, it's shit like this that gets millions of people killed. And then after the fact, people go, how the fuck did we ever let that happen? Because you escalated, then he escalated, then you escalated. And at no point along the way did you guys go, whoa, let's be rational here. Let's sit down. Let's figure this out. Instead, he's like, yeah, put me in the ring against him. And that's what's going to happen, man. And with a guy like Christie in office, we would escalate slowly to World War III. He said, put troops on Putin's border. And what the fuck do you think is going to happen? What is Putin going to say? Ooh, you win. No, then he'll put troops there, and then you're at a fucking standoff, and then what the fuck do you do? I mean, for fuck's sake, imagine that Putin put troops in Cuba and warships there, and just left them there. How would we react? We know how we'd react, because we saw during the Cold War, when the Soviet Union had weapons in Cuba, we almost went to war over it. So imagine they put all warships and, hundreds of thousands of troops in Cuba. How would we react? Oh, no, what do you mean? We're not going to escalate this further and do something in self-defense. Of course you're gonna. And he would do the same thing in self-defense if you put troops on his border in the Baltic states. And don't get me wrong, am I saying I agree with Vladimir Putin and what he did in Crimea? Fuck no, I'm not. Go watch all my segments on that. But you have to be smart about this, guys. You can't just say, oh, let's escalate too, and let's be tough guys, and nothing could go wrong. Of course something can go wrong. And finally, all of a sudden now, Sean Hannity is defending jihadists. It wasn't that long ago. He spoke about on the issue of Syria probably a year and a half ago, where he said repeatedly, and he was right about this, that at this point, virtually all the rebels are jihadists, all the rebels in Syria. So, what are we doing here, basically? Now he's flipped completely, and now when Vladimir Putin decides to attack the rebels, now all of a sudden, oh, the poor rebels, he's bombing our allies there. That's what he said, our allies there. Why don't you explain who our allies are, Sean? Why don't you want to talk about that? Let's talk about that. We covered the Vice News story from a week and a half ago where our allies that we trained to go fight in there, soon as they got into Syria, they handed over all their weaponry to al-Nusra, which is the al-Qaeda branch in Syria. Don't get me wrong, wherever Vladimir Putin kills civilians, and I'm sure he has, and I'm sure he'll continue to at times, totally against that in every way, shape, or form. But let's face it, somebody should be fighting ISIS, and if he wants to do the dirty work for us and spend his money and use his bombs, for fuck's sake, go right ahead. Attack jihadists. Obviously, don't attack civilians, limit civilian casualties, the list goes on and on. But yes, I'd rather them do the dirty work. We've been at war for over a decade now, spent trillions of dollars, literally. Countless Americans have died. Countless civilians on the other side have died. We know we're not really cut out for this. Can we get a break? Can somebody else fight this? And yes, should the people, by and large, that he's targeting, jihadists on the rebel side, are those the right people to target? Fuck yeah. But now all of a sudden, Sean Hannity flips because Vladimir Putin's doing it. So, oh man, the president's got to be big and strong, and the president's got to fight him and do what? What do you want to do? You want to send in our troops to defend the rebels? But I just went over with you how the moderate rebels have been gone for well over a year now. And that's not just me saying it. A Daily Beast article laid that out in great detail, that all the moderates fled to Europe and fled to Turkey. So it scares me to hear guys like this talk about foreign policy, because you realize when you hear them talking, as bad as Obama is with his soft empire and his drone strikes all over the place and stuff, and it's horrendous, don't get me wrong, I'm in no way excusing it, we gotta put an end to it. But imagine what it would be like with the President Chris Christie. Oh,